we are talking today, what has been told to me, I was suggested this film as being, you will love this film. It is the new horror icon. You're going to absolutely adore it. And we talk about perfect films a lot, like Citizen Kane and Vertigo, and this is not that film.
I've been told by many of my teenage relatives I will enjoy this movie. They actually seen this movie too. So.
Yeah, so we are going to be talking Terrifier, the film from Damien Leone, and talking Art the Clown and all the nasty bits in between. Join us for some Terrifier.
Yeah, nasty's right.
Welcome back to the show. I'm one of your hosts, Kyle Goethe from GoatFilmReviews.com.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nick from the St. Paul Filmcast. Thanks for finding us. Thanks for watching. And for our loyal fans, thank you for continuing to support the show. You can follow the show on Twitter and on Instagram. We do have a Patreon. Check that out for some great deals to tell us what to do. Both Kyle and I are members of the Minnesota Film Critics Alliance. Check out the webpage for critics reviews as well as ours. And today we're talking about, which probably is beginning to be birthing of a cult classic in the horror section. It is The Terrifier.
Yeah, so it's Halloween night, and friends Tara and Dawn are just trying to get home. But all that becomes more complicated as they are beset on by a sadistic killer clown named Art.
Okay, so John Luke Goddard famously said, all you need to do to make a film was have a girl and a gun. I would say all you need to do to make a horror movie is a clown and a knife.
Yeah.
And you have it.
You need fodder, and you need someone to complete the fodder.
Yeah.
Now, all that being said, you do need a little bit more than that to make a good horror movie.
Yes.
I'll tell you right now, as this one started, I was like, ooh, okay, so it's got kind of a low-budget flavor. Like, I was really excited because
it does have
I
a
know
low-budget flavor to it.
I know that Terrifier 2 is coming out right now. It just had its premiere at Fantastic Fest.
Yeah.
And it got very good reviews from the first audience that came out. They said it was like, it's just a bombastic, insane movie. And I'm like, oh, we got to check out this first one,
Be
right?
interesting to see if they go B-movie role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
big budget, yeah.
I watched this thing beginning to end, and I will say this, it's a blessing that it's 82 minutes. I was very much not feeling this movie at all as it went on. And I'm one of the guys who should be your target audience.
Yeah.
So it disappointed me to no end.
Well, I understand why people appreciate this film.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much the homage of cliches. You have a monster, right? It's attacking women. The intro is a little bit slow.
Mm-hmm.
Very much slow, like, let's get to this.
Yeah.
I think even Halloween's a little bit slow. I think what's missing is what we talked about with Department Zero. Music.
Okay, yeah.
I think music, if you have a punch to it, I wouldn't like jolly fun music, but something foreboding. Mm-hmm. I think the overall central killing, I think people, he's very interesting villain. You want to know more about it, but he's not going to tell you anything.
That's the thing about it is that, you know, we compare these things. One of the things I want to do with this episode is do a post-mortem on this kind of a film and what didn't work for me and what works better in other films. And so, like, when you look at the big three, our Michaels, our Jasons, our Freddys, there's things that are there that are missing from this Art the Clown character.
I'm really surprised that you don't like this.
There's a motive to those characters. We know why Michael is stalking. We know why Freddy is stalking. We know why Jason is stalking. Whether or not those motives are flimsy, we know what they're doing.
Right.
Art, I didn't feel that. I didn't feel like there was any motive to what he was doing. There's no backstory to the character. I actually like the performance. I like David Howard Thornton. Did a great job, had mime experience, so it seems pretty solid that he would work with the character.
Yeah, it's very effective. I love that when she turns and runs the door and he's just holding the keys and knife like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I love that.
He's playing around with his you know.
I'm surprised I enjoyed this movie more than you did.
Maybe you did, yeah.
Yeah.
But I look at things like, I really love all the practical effects. Like, that's, you do that in a movie and you're going to win me over 10 times out of 10.
I think where you're winning is if you can feel them sawing that girl. You can feel it. And you don't really see anything, but you can just feel it.
You see the before and you
she
see the
gives
after.
I mean, both people, you know, give a wonderful performance to make it look authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as I'm watching it, I'm thinking to myself, like,
and then you see the after effects. They go like a cross shot.
Yeah. They give just enough where it's like, oh, you see it. And that's, again, using your tools. You know, as a filmmaker, you may not have the CG to do something really horrendous, but practical effects you can do a lot with. And cutting away when you can't show something works really well. I just was waiting the whole time for, like, when are we going to get character? When are we going to get story? When are we going to get some driving momentum to the narrative? And I was missing that. Now, to be fair, I went back and I discovered more. I found out that Art the Clown is in other movies first. And I was like, really interesting. So I watched the short film called The Ninth Circle. I watched the original Terrifier short. And then I found a movie called All Hallows Eve, which has the same director. And it's kind of a anthology, if you will. Woman finds a videotape, she watches it, and Art the Clown shows up in all the different stories. what's confusing to me is he has just as much character development in those short films as he does in this, where it's like, I don't know, is he a demon? Is he supernatural? Is he a guy in a costume? Like, I just want to know more. You can do that where you have a motiveless killer, like a force of nature, like a Michael Myers, if everything around it is well placed. But I just don't think the characters are written that way.
Well, you're right, because Jason's a mommy's boy.
Yeah, Jason is killing because
Freddy
his mom
is
was
a
killed.
pedophile.
Yeah.
Sadistic killer pedophile. And then Michael has family issues of
It's
identity.
depending on which version you watch, it's familial, or it's the force of nature, or it's going back home. You know, every element of him has at least some inherent villainy, some motive to it that's missing.
Okay, so we could talk a little bit about the writing aspect. And it's a little bit weak for me.
Yeah.
But I'm not there for the clever writing. I do like the kills and everything for the horror movie.
Yeah.
It's very disgusting. It's like it's like East Asia disgusting Japanese horror, like Audition.
Yeah, I was thinking Audition. I was thinking Marabito, which is another film that has some pretty intense violence in those scenes.
Yeah. But if you're going to write a central core character where the villain, the monster, is empty and we don't know anything about him, character around would have to be interesting.
You have to give us people to care about. Because say what you will about any of the Friday the 13th films, I love the canon fodder. They give just enough to all the different people that are going to get hacked to bits, so that when they get hacked to bits, you either are happy because they were evil, or you're like, oh, shoot, you know, like that happened.
Well, the effective thing about Halloween is initially you think Jamie Lee Curtis is seeing things.
Yeah.
Is that really him? Well, he's driving by, he's like, is this real? Mm-hmm. And you get that personality eventually coming out. I don't have a personality with these people. You dress them up in costumes. I mean, she has a skeleton costume that's supposed to be foreboding about what's going to happen to her. But costume doesn't really, you have to have something beneath that costume as well. Just dressing a person doesn't really make it effective. Go ahead and kill them. If you have nothing to them, don't take 20 minutes to...
That's the thing too, is if you don't have characters, give us a lot more of them. So
if
that
you're going to be at the pizza place and you're going to make a mess, why wait?
Yeah. And it just feels like there was great ideas that were kind of wasted in the long run. And what I mean by that is, like the idea of, spoiler alert for the movie, the idea of killing off your two lead girls and then turning the direction towards the sister, that was a pretty interesting idea. And I was like, okay, I didn't see that coming. But then, you also have these moments where, like, why is Art the Clown smearing his poop on the wall in the pizza place? Yeah. Why is he spelling on his... Like, what does that do for the character?
That's what I said. If you're going to make a mess of things, why wait?
Yeah. Just get going.
Just get going. If you're going to terrorize everybody at the pizza place, including the people working behind there, then do the mess in the bathroom after you're done killing everybody.
Yeah. Well, or give me something where that mess in the bathroom has any narrative purpose.
Right.
Because I kind of felt like it degrades the character of Art that he's doing that. Because he is supposed to be a frightening menace. And he's like, oh, he's putting poop on the wall.
But you do it after you get killing. This is writing 101. If you have no backstory, nothing, if it's just a shell, but you understand that he's proud of what he did and massacre everything, then do the mess in the bathroom almost like it's an art piece, and his signature on the wall with crap saying, "This is done by Art the Clown. Come get me." Yeah, and then make it decorative. Hannibal Lecter was theatrical too.
You have the opportunity. And if you're gonna go with the practical effects, you can get theatrical. Then you can have a bit of fun with the mess and the blood and the pulp and all that stuff.
Yeah. Have a car that looks like it's a clown car. Have gadgets. Harpo Marx was a clever character that he had props all the time on hand. It's like, hey, can I have money for a cup of coffee? And then out of his pocket came a real cup of coffee. Yeah. If you did that with Art the Clown, something like, where are all these gadgets coming from? Yeah. Because at the end we understand he's supernatural, where he's not a real person. Then that's almost blends into what I say about comedy horror is the thin thread between funny and disgusting, laughing. Then you got something there.
Yeah. And there's like, he's carrying around the bag, and the bag is meant to be full of like tools and weapons. Like, use some of those. And what I think about is, again, the great idea of like, oh, you're literally going to saw someone in half like that. That's horrifying. That's a terrifying thing to do. Yeah. But then when he offs the other girl, he grabs a gun, and it's like, what are you using a gun for? Like, what are you?
That's why I begin this show is, to make a horror movie, you just need a knife and a gun. But then you break the rule. If you're going to break the rules of your own writing, you have to, in effect, a reason why. Yeah. Then you get out, then you get mad, then you're like, because if you had to use a gun, then have something else to like, you wrote it for me. Yeah. I had to use a gun. damn it.
Yeah, let's get a little character moment from him where he's mad that like he's reduced to the gun, which is tough to do if you're having a character that doesn't speak. I get that. And I will say again, David Howard Thornton plays him in this film. He was played by a different actor previously in the anthology film I'd watched. But and this is a much better performance. It feels more fully realized. The makeup effects are better on him. He looks, discerning.
That's what really sold me, because they really took the time to do the aesthetic makeups that really looks like a body being chopped off.
Yep.
And the disgusting part, I know that's just melted chocolate. You're not going to fool me with the... I've worked on enough props and everything.
I've watched the Sandlot. I know what's going on.
But if you're going to make a mess of everything, but by God, make a mess of everything. Yep. I think they're still playing safe with the... But Riley, flush out the characters more. I think this script is a little too green.
Yeah, it's just, we... And the thing is, at 82 minutes... It does seem like they threw a lot of things in there. Like, again, if I were cutting the film together, if I were our editor, I would pull things like the poop in there out, because I don't think
I would
it
pull
adds
the whole
anything.
Conversation in the car.
Yeah,
there's
an extended conversation in the car.
There's multiple shots, which means they spent 8 hours with that whole car. Cut it!
And I love movies that clock in at like 80 minutes, where they're just a running pace beginning to end. It's fine if you're going to come in around that time, but like cut out some of that stuff and add in some character. Add in some stuff going on. You've got these interpersonal relationships. You have the sister dynamic of her wanting to get done with her midterms, her wanting to move forward, but now she's been out in this night. She finds her sister dead. Like, you find all these moments where you could really embrace some character development, but instead we had to make sure that we had time in the 82 minutes for poop and a conversation on the car that doesn't go anywhere. Like,
if Art the Clown did flat the tire, then make it obvious to everybody he did it. Have like a signature weapon that's kind of looks like a clown.
One of his props,
If he's gonna write his name in crap, then maybe he writes his name in chalk. Art was here.
Yeah, give us a calling card.
Yes, you're gonna have to do something. I don't know why I'm saying this to people that should have known this if they love horror fans.
This does seem like a love letter to graphic violence, like the pulpy 80s slash 'em up kind of.
That's why we
genre.
love Jason, because everywhere Jason kills, he reminds you, I was here.
Yeah. He'll put someone behind a door, so when you open the door, they flop
just
out
in case
and stuff like
you forget.
that.
I was here. If you didn't know I was here, and I'll put a head on it.
Yeah,
like that.
I'm fine with the unreality, because again, I watch a Friday the 13th movie, and I don't know how Jason gets around all the time without being seen, this hulking mask with a hockey mask on. But like, I'm fine with that unreality, but like, do something with it. I just it frustrated me more.
The ending felt like, remember the movie Behind the Mask, the story Leslie Vernon, very much the same ending.
Yeah, where we're kind of just like, we're circling back to where we were at the beginning, and it doesn't feel like that was a surprise to me. I guess that opening scene, I was kind of like, I know what's gonna happen. It's we're gonna circle back here. I get that. One thing for me was that this film did give me hope, in one way, and that is because
That's favorite word.
The sequel is getting good reviews for all the things that this film bothered me about, and I think this is a case where this movie might be made better by a follow-up. In the same way that I do not like the original Hostel. I really love Hostel Part 2. Because Hostel Part 2 took everything that worked in the original film and expanded upon it. We get 3 different storylines all going on, converging, that are building on what happened in the first film. So I can go back and rewatch Hostel 1 right now and really enjoy it because of how it plays as one singular story.
Enjoy it? Okay.
Yeah, enjoys it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. But I can get more out of that first film because of what the second film added to the equation. I hope that's the case with this one. Because this is an hour 22 minutes. Apparently the sequel is 2 hours and 20 minutes. So there must be a lot of stuff going on there, and I hope it's all good stuff added.
Yeah, flush it out a little bit more. I agree. But right, overall, effective use of what I think horror fans like is practical effects.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is for as much as my frustrations with the film, I can see why people would like it. And so that's what I leave it as. Is that's my way of saying it works for a lot of people. It just didn't work for me.
And I can see how they, you film it at night. You don't want anybody interrupting the set, so you chain lock the door.
Yep. Again, effective use of low budget. We use mostly one singular location.
Yeah.
Apparently, the original set was supposed to be a burger place, but when he found out he couldn't secure a burger place and the 2 actresses were vegan, he said, "Well, we'll move to a pizza place." And he found, like, you figure it out. When you make these low-budget movies, it's all about figuring out the problem. They couldn't afford Halloween props, so he CGI'd a jack-o'-lantern in later on. Like, you fix things as you can. You make the best movie you can with the worlds. I just think the things that could have been improved upon in this film were things that didn't cost any more money. Just finishing the script.
You didn't have to dress it up. You just go back to the script of if your core character has to be interesting.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't speak, he has to be elegant, dance,
Yeah.
Be like almost like a dancer, like Gene Kelly. Be theatrical, be outrageous, but right, when you don't, you have to have something attached to him if you don't have no personality, which is, I use knives because I like it. We'll show how he has to use a gun and gets up. I already repeating myself, but gets upset, has to use a gun.
Yeah. I think that's actually, I keep seeing that scene in my head now that doesn't exist from the movie, but I'm like, yeah, that would be really fun to see. You almost need a Crazy Ralph character to continue on if you're going to do this. You need someone who's going to give us the legend. You need someone who's going to give us, like, flesh out the character. Because, again, in all those other short films and features I mentioned where Art the Clown appears, he does something different in each one. So it's not even like he's the same character. It's just like we couldn't come up with something different. So it's like, find a way to tie all of that stuff together and give us a really rich mythology with him. And then I think doing that, you might be able to say Terrifier 2 expands upon the original and actually creates that horror icon. Because right now I don't feel like Art the Clown is.
Yeah. And so just scripts in a little green. I think overall you have people that really enjoy horror movies. Yeah, flesh it out a little bit better.
Yeah, it will work for some of them.
Yeah.
It will.
And if you're going to make a mess, my God, make a real good mess of things.
Yeah, break that blood like world record that everyone seems to push for, that Evil Dead level of like just pour it out there.
Yeah, just have a truck full. I mean, Sam Raimi used to have trucks full of it. Just spray everybody and just, yeah.
The king of the Airbnb, Sam Raimi and his
just order trucks for it. And we know people that have a formula that really make effective blood, and they will never tell me the formula, but they'll sell it to you. But
if you watch In Search of Darkness, you can learn Tom Savini's formula is in that film, and I have written it down before. It looked pretty good. Right. But like, yeah, and the thing about it is, when I view this film, I know people that have made films that are similar that I really enjoy. I know people in the business, but the difference is those films, and it proves my point, those films are bloody, messy, violent. Some of them are mean-spirited at times, but the writing is there, the character is there, the story is there, so that when you hit those moments,
I think we already
that's icing.
We established a little the trinkets that you have to do to make it work.
Yeah, there are elements here that could have been tweaked and could have made this film a whole lot better. Because I'm hoping that's what happens.
And you can criticize Friday the 13th, but every moment of those movies, you understand Jason's there, even when he's not.
Yeah, he has a presence over the whole film. And some of the films he doesn't even appear in. And he has a presence across the whole movie.
Maybe in a mirror.
Yeah.
Or maybe just a little worm.
Yeah,
but you have to have something where Art the Clown has some kind of signature attachment of, he prides himself. It's art to him. Then show paintings or something like that.
Yeah.
And make it a little more, it's really weird to say, make it a little more disgusting than it is.
Yeah. You have the ability to do so. And I think, again, going back to it, we have some of the people that survived this film will be in Terrifier 2. So then you have the trauma, you have the built upon, you have all these things there. I do think there's a potential that Terrifier 2 makes this film better, and I'm hoping that happens.
Guess what? We'll critique Terrifier 2 if you join the Patreon and tell us watch it.
Yeah, go down. The link's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think about Terrifier? Yeah,
it's a weird word to say. Yeah, it's hard.
Terrifier.
Yeah.
What do you think about the film? Let us know down in the comment section.
It's getting
below.
a cult following again. And I think a lot of people told me I have to see this movie. So it's one of those things. If it's grassroots campaign of people telling me I have to see it, then something's working with it.
I'm glad I watched it. I just didn't love it. But maybe you did. Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear from the people that really, really love this movie. Purely because I'm on the opposite side. I want to hear that argument and have that discussion.
Yeah. Movie.
But let me know what you thought about the film down below. We'd love to hear
Surprisingly, I enjoyed this movie more than you did.
I can't believe you did. I was like waiting for the call of like, are you sure we're going to do this?
Right.
But yeah, make sure while you're down there, please like and subscribe. There are 2 free things that you can do that help to support the channel. And make sure you never miss new episodes of the show, Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Check out the Patreon link down below. Tell us to watch Terrifier 2. And while you're down there, check out the many other tiers that you have. Exclusive content, Picks with Kyle and Nick, exclusive Road to De Palma, our Brian De Palma series, available for patrons only. On the link down there. Thank you guys for joining us. And until next time, you can find all my film reviews over at goatfilmreviews.com.
You can find my show, the St. Paul Filmcast, anywhere you find podcasts.
All right. We're going to stay out of that abandoned building.
Yes, stay out of abandoned buildings.
Yeah.